Hi, welcome back for our next Lapland Lowdown episode. Today I am here with Taija from the Sámi Museum, which I'm really excited about. I've just done an amazing tour with her around the museum and learned so much, and now she's very willingly given up her time to talk to us about the Sámi culture and for all of you to learn a bit more about it. So we'll make a start. I might actually just get you to start and share a little bit about your story and who you are and how you got to be where you are, and also what your role is here.
Yeah. So my name is Taija here. I work as audience manager or audience engagement here in Siida Museum. I've been here for almost 8 years now. My background is that I am Inari Sámi, so that definitely drew me to work with my own communities and with my own culture. I did study in university. My major was in Sámi culture and minor is in Sámi language and cultural anthropology as well.
So you were saying before that you didn't grow up speaking Sámi language, but you have learned.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Most Sámi people don't speak the Sámi language.
Yeah.
Through history, through assimilation and colonization, the language has been for big parts lost in different generations. So my grandmother's first language was Inari Sámi. She stopped talking it and never spoke Sámi to my mother, and therefore I never learned Sámi at home. But nowadays, luckily, there are opportunities to take the language back and bring the culture back.
Yeah. I know I have got lots of questions here on this document, but I'm going to go a bit rogue because
Yeah.
we've talked outside, and I think it's interesting for people to know that there's multiple Sámi languages.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's a very diverse group of people. It's not just one Sámi people, or in ways we like to talk about we being part of the same people, but we have 9 different Sámi languages, all very distinct from each other. We cannot even communicate properly in just Sámi language. And we are spread across a land in hundreds, even thousands of kilometers in different directions. So that creates divide. And of course, because of colonization, the national countries of Finland, Sweden, Norway and Russia create different histories and different aspects into our culture nowadays as well. That makes it different. The experience of being Sámi in Finland is different to being Sámi in Norway, for example.
Yeah, yeah. And you talked to us earlier about the way that language is being reintroduced and more of the Sámi culture is being reintroduced into society.
Yes.
Could you share a little bit about that process?
Yeah, of course, historically it was sort of seen as a bad thing to be Sámi, to speak Sámi, and that's part of the reason why it disappeared in many families. But there's a big shift in sort of the attitude towards Sámi people, whereas when I was young, even my friends who spoke Sámi as their first language, they only used it at home with their parents. Even with Sámi friends, they wouldn't use Sámi as a communication language with their friends who also spoke Sámi, just because in a public space it wasn't a good thing to be Sámi still. But now there's a huge difference. Nowadays kids talk Sámi in the streets, in the shops, and it's become more everyday, more common to use the language and
more
being
accepted.
proud of it.
Yeah.
You don't have to hide it.
Yeah, and you talked about the education and how there's some schools that you can now go and learn and do full education in Sámi.
Yes, here the children are able to go into a daycare center that is completely in Sámi. Even if at home you don't speak Sámi, you are able to become bilingual by going to a daycare and then to school completely in Sámi.
Yeah.
And legally here in Finland, for example, within the Sámi homeland, the government has to provide teaching in Sámi. So all the Sámi children here have to have the opportunity to go to school in Sámi.
Yeah.
But for adults to get to take back the language, I went to university and was able to take the language back through there.
Yeah.
But there's also a school here in Inari, the Sámi Educational Institute, that has a 1-year-long language course where you, for 1 school year, you study just the language.
Yeah.
So it's very efficient.
Yeah.
By the end of that school year, you're mostly fluent in the language and can use it in your everyday life.
Yeah.
So that's been able to revive the numbers of Sámi speakers.
Yeah.
Especially the minority ones, like Inari Sámi, that is my family's language. the number of speakers in the 1990s was about 200 people.
Yeah.
Now it's about 400, even 450 by some counts.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. Okay, I'm going to go into my questions because otherwise I'll miss them. And some of these questions have actually come from the people in my Facebook group.
Yep.
So yeah, there has been a lot of interest, which is really cool. So I guess, and I probably should have started this, but can you explain who the Sami people are and why the Sami culture is such an important part of Lapland's identity?
Yeah, so the Sami are the only recognized indigenous peoples in the European Union. As indigenous people, we are very separate from the sort of majority cultures around us, but of course in many ways our lives have assimilated into that culture as well. We live a very normal day-to-day life, the same as the Finnish neighbors that we have.
Yeah.
But then again, oftentimes when people ask me sort of why or how is Sami culture different from Finnish culture, for example, it's very hard to explain. And I usually bring the question back and ask people, define culture first. What do you see as culture? And when you start to think about it, it's everything about you, the way you think, what you eat, everything is your culture. And it's very hard to differentiate between two different cultures. What is different about this? Especially if the language is the same, for example. How do you differentiate two cultures when the language is the same? So it's very hard to define it. But of course, here in Lapland, the Sami have been for hundreds, probably thousands of years. So we are an integral part of everything here. Even though you might not see us so visibly, we don't build big monuments or pyramids or totems or anything like grand like other indigenous people have built through history. But for us, it's all about preserving the nature and treating the nature with respect. And I think there's a lot to learn from the way we see the nature and the world around us.
I'm just I can't remember the exact wording, but just outside that door is that quote. Can you share a bit about that?
Roughly it says something about how even though the history wasn't written necessarily, the history lives under the skins of the Sami people. So we talk about also this concept of multi-layered landscape where an outsider, and to the naked eye, something might look untouched, wilderness, but for the Sami, there's always a meaning, there's always a usage for every piece of land, but it's used so sparingly that it never leaves any trace behind.
And the other one I liked that you talked about was that Sami people care, or Finnish people perhaps as well, care for the land as much as they care for their children. That's sort of enclosed in the main message for our exhibitions here. These lands are our children is the name of the exhibit, and that's kind of the idea that people understand that nature is something as precious as children. You look after it and take care of it in the same way. I love that. That's really cool. Okay, so Siida is often described as more than just a museum. What makes Siida such a significant place for learning about Sami culture, history and connection to land?
Well, here in Finland we are the only Sami museum, so this is the only place where you can truly learn of the Sami culture. We've also been awarded the Museum of the Year in Europe in Finland in 2024, mostly in parts of our community work that we do, which is very important for us. When we rebuilt our exhibitions a few years ago, over 300 members of the Sami community got involved in making this exhibition. So we can truly say that it is an exhibition about the Sami people, but it's also by the Sami people. The Sami made the decisions of which stories do we tell, how do we tell the story of the Sami people, which stories are private and to be kept within the communities and not displayed to tourists. So I think that's a big part of why we're called more than just a museum. We are able to provide the Sami community with something as well. We don't learn about our own history in schools. The Finnish school system doesn't teach anything about the Sami people. Standard Finnish person that you see on the streets there knows more about the Cherokee or the Navajo or the Australian indigenous people than they do about the Sami. which is very sad.
Yeah, it's really sad.
But that is the reality we live in.
Yeah.
And in Siida we are able to tell the stories of the Sami people, even to the Sami.
Yeah.
And that is always our primary audience, even though less than 1% of our visitors are Sami,
Yeah.
but it is still always our primary audience.
Yeah.
Every decision we make, we look at it from the point of view of the whole Sami community,
Yeah.
not just how it benefits our museum or
Yeah.
individuals.
Oh, that's lovely. That's really good. Okay, so many travellers come to Lapland for the outdoor winter activities,
Yes.
all lions, huskies, all that sort of stuff. Why is it important for visitors to come here and experience this?
Well, I think it's always important to understand the local culture, the way the locals act and see the world.
Yeah.
It can vary quite a bit from what is presented to tourism, for example. Most of the activities that are provided for tourists are not something that locals do.
Yeah, okay.
Of course, locals use snowmobiles to get about and
Yes.
go onto a snowmobile
Yeah.
safari.
Yeah.
People herd reindeers,
Yeah.
but nobody uses reindeer as a mode of transportation
Yeah.
as it is used in tourism to do sleigh rides with
Yeah.
reindeer. That is not very common
Yeah.
nowadays. Mostly the reindeer are trained to pull sleighs just for the tourists nowadays.
Yes. Yeah.
Because in practice of reindeer herding, snowmobiles, four-wheelers have replaced
Yeah. Yeah.
sleighs. And huskies have nothing to do with Finland
Yeah.
or Sami or Lapland at all.
Yeah. So how does that make you feel? Like that people come over here and engage in all of these activities? Feel free to be completely honest.
I love sharing my culture. Like
Yeah.
giving these tours and interviews, I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's a great opportunity for me to be able to influence people's point of view on who and what the Sami people are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do love the fact that we have a lot of visitors here and we're able to spread the word of who the Sami are.
Yeah.
But there is a downside to it.
Yeah.
With the way that tourism has grown here
Yeah.
to such big proportions, that it is affecting locals' lives
Yeah.
in a way. The infrastructure is not made to sustain this many people here.
Yeah.
And sort of the funding to improve the infrastructure is in relation to how many people there live locally.
Yeah.
And when we have about 700 locals here in the village,
Yeah.
and there's about 2,000 tourists at
Yeah.
any given day here as well,
Yeah.
the balance of local life and tourism
Yeah.
is not.
So it's impacting, it's negatively impacting
Yes.
locals.
But of course there's positive impact as well.
Yeah.
Jobs
Yeah.
and everything like that.
Yeah.
Of course it
Yeah.
brings about a lot of opportunities.
Yeah. It's a bit of a balance, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's finding the
Yeah,
balance.
I can understand that. Okay, so what are some respectful ways tourists or travellers can learn about and engage with Sami culture while travelling in Lapland? And are there any common mistakes or misunderstandings visitors should be aware of?
Well, there's this sort of common stereotype in a way that people still look for a sort of traditional Sami village,
Mm-hmm.
a place where they can go and see the real Sami.
Yes.
That's quite a common question we
Okay.
get at the customer service, even here at the museum. People
Yeah.
come and ask, where can I see real Sami people?
Okay.
Yeah, yes, exactly. I wish people to understand that we are people,
Yeah.
not like animals in a zoo that you
Yes.
can come and bark at.
Yeah.
We live a very normal everyday life out there, as I said, so to come in and asking where the real Sami are is kind of, it's ignorant.
Yeah.
Ignorance is where it stems from,
Yeah.
and the stereotypes still living on that people still live in tents
Yeah.
and haven't heard a reindeer out there in the wild.
Yeah.
But that's not the reality of
Yeah.
current day. So I would say, whenever you travel somewhere, educate yourself.
Yeah.
Look up what the local population consists of, are there indigenous people,
Yeah.
and do some research. There's
Yeah.
a lot of information online.
Yeah.
You don't always have to call a Sami person to get the real answer. You can find answers
Yeah,
online
you
as
can.
well.
Yep, absolutely. The other thing that you mentioned when we were doing our tour was about people wearing the Sami clothes. So would you like to talk about that? Because I think that's, like, as travellers, I think people come and they say, oh, wouldn't it be nice to have something traditional, or, you know, take it like a souvenir sort of thing, or go, oh, that's lovely, and they might genuinely love it, but for someone who's Sami, seeing someone else wearing something, it's, yeah, that's disrespectful. So maybe talk about even the meaning behind some of the clothing.
Yeah, the clothing is very personal. Each piece is usually tailor-made to you by your mother, your grandmother, aunts, usually are the ones who dress the whole family. And yeah, it's personal, and there's a lot of cultural meanings in the clothing. It's like a language you can read. As a Sami person, you can read the clothing and to tell where people are from, where their family have come from. And it's like marital status can also be seen in the clothing usually. So for an outsider to wear some of the Sami clothing is seen as disrespectful, because you're lying essentially. You're telling a story with the clothing regardless of if it's true or not.
Yeah.
And that's how our community sees it.
Yeah.
Some parts of the clothing, like the jewelry for example, mostly the scarves, you can buy somewhere and you can wear them.
Yeah.
And we, in a way, we encourage people as well to buy, because the Sami crafters, if they only made their crafts for Sami people, that wouldn't be much of an income.
Yes.
So if you want to actually make money on your handicrafts, we do need the tourists to buy them as well. So it's not always cultural appropriation to buy something indigenous made, because you're also supporting that indigenous artist by purchasing their products.
Yes, and I assume that the products you've got here in your store are all locally made?
Yes, mostly locally made, and most of them, all of the items that we sell in our shop are sort of free for all. There's no, we don't sell the dresses or the hats, things like that are culturally significant. But the jewelry, for example, is for anybody to buy.
Yeah, so what you've got here is, Cool, okay. Maybe would you like to share a little bit about the exhibits that you've got here at the moment, knowing that you have a new one coming in this room, but and some that change, but maybe talk a little bit about what people could expect to see or to learn when they come here.
Yeah, so we have usually 3 different exhibitions inside, and then an open air museum outside as well. The main exhibit is in 2 rooms, focuses on Sami culture, nature and history, and then we have 2 changing ones. Typically either nature photography or Sami art, or handicrafts is considered art as well in a way. So at the moment we have a craft exhibition here, and then this room will have a photo exhibition next week as well.
Nice.
And the open air museum, there's about 800 meters from trail outside, so there's a lot to see there as well. Some houses, hunting traps, boats, sledges, things like that.
Great. Okay. Now, I know you mentioned this before, that there's not really anywhere else in Finland that has something like this, but if people aren't coming this far north, but want to experience some Sami culture, is there somewhere, and obviously most of our travellers are coming to Lapland, so is there anywhere else in Lapland where people can learn about or have some sort of experience with learning about the Sami culture?
There are different Sami-owned reindeer farms, for example, even in Rovaniemi area. So those are a good place to look for. So just when you're looking for reindeer safari, reindeer experience of any kind, look and see if the company is Sami-owned or not, and then you'll be able to choose the one where you can get a little bit more insight into what the Sami reindeer herding is. It's a bit different from the Finnish style. But other than that, well, the museum in Rovaniemi, Arcticum, they have a section on Sami culture as well, so there's a little bit there. And then in Levi, there is Sámi-led, so a small exhibition, but it focuses more on history and reindeer herding, but there's a small exhibit there as well. And if you're traveling in Sweden or Norway, there are other Sami museums there as well.
Awesome, great. Okay, this one I like to ask, I guess for people coming to Lapland, what is is there something that you would like Australians to know or visitors to know about Lapland before they come here? Like, what's one thing that you just go, oh, I wish they knew this?
Well, to understand that there are indigenous people here as well. From Australian point of view, you have the Aboriginal people there.
Yeah.
So a similar concept.
Yeah.
And very similar histories in many ways.
Yeah.
Just get familiar with that part of Lapland as well, and not just. Of course, I understand people have different kinds of interests.
Yeah.
Some people are very interested in nature and want to see the northern lights and the animals and things like that. So of course, it's a little bit of a different sort of aim for your trip than someone who's very into culture.
Yeah.
But I think it's still important, even though you might come here for the northern lights, to make sure that you get familiar with the whole culture as well.
Yeah.
And especially in tourism, I would encourage people to avoid husky sledding and husky farms.
Okay.
Because in the recent years it has come to light that most of the farms are not very ethical in their practices.
Yeah.
And also because huskies they have nothing to do with local culture here.
Right.
They're a North American thing to use dogs as sledge pullers.
Yeah.
It was never a tradition in Europe.
Yeah,
So
right.
it's sort of been brought here and commercialized for the tourists.
Yeah. That's a bit of a shame, isn't it? Because there's a lot of people, me included, who came across here desperate to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I understand the interest,
Yeah.
but just to sort of
I guess understanding that it's not part of the Finnish culture, because I mean, for us coming from Australia, we can't do any of these things here. So almost maybe understanding that it's not part of the Finnish culture. Come and have the experience, but know that it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not
understand
Finnish.
the concept of it.
Yeah.
And find a very reputable place to do it, because especially now that tourism is booming in Lapland, there are a lot of shady companies popping up as well. So do your research on where you purchase your activities from.
Yeah.
And they have all their licenses and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so my last question for you is what is the key takeaway that you would like your visitors to have when they leave Siida Museum?
To understand that Sami are still here. We're not talking about history, we're talking about a living culture. And also to understand the respect for nature. The main message of the main exhibition is these lands are our children. Look after them in that way.
I love it.
Give the respect that they need.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really do appreciate your time today, and I know that anyone watching this video will appreciate hearing and learning about this, because I know you can read things, but there's nothing quite like hearing it from a Sami person, but also coming here and exploring the museum. So I hope that more Australians come here once they know more about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Thank you.